All right, so here's the scoop. Uh, Again, I get confused with these webinars because we have a webinar on the weekend with members. Then I got this one open to everybody else. But I think where we left off last week, kind of where I left off with all of you guys was, at some point we need to see some sort of breather. It would create more of a bullish situation if we got some sort of a breather in the indices, a breather in some of the hot pockets out there, some of the hot groups, some of the hot names that basically have rallied in a straight line. And the longer we don't get that, we don't see that breather, the more difficult things become. Okay. And I know initially that can sound like kind of confusing and not make sense, but you could probably sense it in the price action already. Okay. And what I mean by that is you'll see a market go up, it'll create that FOMO feeling, right? Where you got to buy something, even though you may own things, even though you made money already, even though you may be up on positions and you're got a nice cushion. You feel like just because the indices are higher, you need to buy something new. You got to find another opportunity. You got to create more money out of this rally. And the truth of the matter becomes that, like I mentioned, without some sort of a pullback or even sideways consolidation, digestion of the gains of some sort, what tends to happen is you get rallies in the indices that often get faded. And under the hood, there's less participation, not more. Okay. So in other words, early on in this rally, even before we got to the start of earnings season, we were starting to see that rotation take place and manifest, right? And it almost felt like you could get your hands on any of these rotation type names, and it didn't matter, they all were going higher. Okay. And now what you're starting to see is that one day you may have the bank strong off the opening bell, right? Then they fade a bit into the afternoon, but the commodity names really aren't participating much to the upside, right? The banks may fade one day, then you see software and biotech, they have some strength and then ultimately fade out throughout the day. So all in all, a market continues to grind higher. But again, like I said, underneath the hood, in individual names, you're not really seeing that. Like, for example, right now, what we're seeing out there, we're seeing a lot of the overextended stuff, the stuff that's been a bit stretched in this rally, already starting to breathe, even though the indices haven't really pulled back much. All right. And there may not be much pullback yet in any of these things, but you're already starting to see them show signs of getting a bit tired. All right. And that's where more risk comes into play. Because what happens is if you're looking for entries on any of the larger names, the bigger plays, right? The names we all like to play, the Caterpillars, the URIs, and all that stuff, it becomes really difficult because it's not as smooth anymore, right? Any little bit of green feels like gets faded, and you feel like you're almost kind of getting screwed if you're starting to play these things, especially for the first time up here. All right. So what I like to do to keep me away from doing that, because I've been burnt so many times throughout my career, what I like to do is I focus when a market gets stretched, right? When sentiment becomes a little, closer to the more bullish side of an extreme, put the call low, that whole sort of thing. What I like to do, my strongest signal that I watch on a day-to-day basis is initial activity, okay, in new names. So in other words, we still see flow in Tesla. We saw more flow today, right? We still see flow in a lot of the same names. We'll see like FCX, Freeport, still catching flow after its move, okay? But I'm not paying too much attention to that until we see some sort of breather in the overall markets or in these names. What I'm looking for are new names. I want to see buying spill over, as we talked about on the last webinar, into some of the names that have better setups out there. All right, and there may not be a lot of them. I'm sure there are enough of them. We just know we're not aware of it. But that is my ultimate tell that the market, that buyers still have an appetite. You know, sweepers still have an appetite. Okay, so maybe the markets, the indices is when I refer to the markets, maybe the indices don't necessarily have to pull back much or consolidate if we're seeing still a strong appetite for new names, right? New money in individual names. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for and have been looking for all week. All right, we haven't seen much of it yet. All right, we don't want to make a bigger deal than it is. It's only a couple days, right? We're in a big November expiration week. Don't get me started with everything else, with gamma and pinning and all that at play. There's not a lot of movement or the opportunity for a lot of movement anyway out there. Okay, but once we get through this week, that's what we want to see. All right, and if we're not seeing it, from my experience, that is a big tell that buyers are looking for lower prices or some digestion, whether it's sideways or whatever it may be. Maybe it's time, right? Rather than price they're focused on. But that's an ultimate tell to me that they're not ready to get aggressive in the option market at this current time, right? So if we're not seeing that. So what that allows me to do, if I'm like, for example, we've been talking about, I've been doing a lot of buying rotation names with a decent amount of time behind it, right? We spoke about that. That's what I was focused on. So for the past few weeks, call it a month, that's primarily been the plan, okay? And now it changes a bit for me where I'm not concentrating on that right now, considering where the market is, okay? What I'm looking to do is be more nimble, more tactical. So I want to focus on day trading. I want to focus on maybe flipping the next day at most in any swing positions, right? Scalping. The name of the game right now, to keep it simple, I want to get out early on the upside, right? So I'll give you an example. And there's still opportunities out there because you saw like this morning, for whoever was around for the open today, this market looked like it was going to rally right past 3,100, right, and keep going. But you know, we know there are a couple things out there that we know that the odds of that, the probability of that, wasn't favorable, right? Wasn't high. I mean, just to name a few, you know, sentiment a little warmer. We're not seeing, you know, them hit any new names. Like I mentioned, sweepers aren't buying anything new. We follow gamma on a regular basis, but keep it simple, right? We know that 3,100, there's a huge amount of gamma at that level. So it would take a lot of buying to get through that. All right. But in the interim, if you were looking to be quick, if you can be quick, first of all, right? If you have the capabilities to be in front of your desk and day trade and do all that sort of thing, there's enough movement here to try to make some money. Okay, but at the same time, you see how I started off with the playbook rather than even talk about the trade. I know coming in already to this day that no matter how strong this looks, I'm looking to remain tactical, and I want to be earlier than late taking profits off the table, right? So that's different than what we were talking about several weeks or a month ago, where I wanted to give a leash to a lot of the stuff I was buying, right? Let them run, because the upside was there. See, the way I look at it now is markets can continue higher, right? Markets can continue higher through warm sentiment, more bulls than bears, okay? But the odds are there's going to be some sort of digestion, consolidation at some point before another big leg higher, okay? And I don't want to participate in that game. It's almost like playing musical chairs. All right, so I'd rather stay on the nimble side. I'd rather be quicker than late. And then when we do get that pull and that consolidation, then I can focus on, positions where I don't have to worry about that inevitable pull coming at some point. Exactly, Luciano, exactly. I'm more focused on the exposure time now and looking to be more nimble now, right? As opposed to where we were, at the start of this, at the start of the rotation. And a lot has happened since, right? This market moves quick. Like if you remember the discussion we were having, okay, initially was when, names like Caterpillar, the banks, URI, Freeport, US Steel, they were coming off of this down here. Okay, so even though not a lot of time has gone by, that's a big move, stretched move, right? And if you're not weighing your entries different up here than down here at the initial move, you're going to learn the hard way that the risk reward is nowhere near as favorable up here. Okay, so that's exactly what you pointed out, Luciano, is that's the goal for me, right? The way I look at it as, all right, there may still be some momentum here, right, that I can take advantage of. I got to be quicker, a lot quicker. There still may be some juice. I'm not going to make I'm not going to make a huge hit on the momentum that's out there, but there's more risk now. Okay, there's more risk now. So in simple English, what the best case scenario for me here would be, okay, that these names go into a little thingamajigger like that. I'll show you. Okay, this is doing this is what I'm talking about. Okay, see this? All right, you see EEM? You see this? That's my point. Okay, that's what I'm worried about, and that's why, to your point, Luciano, why as far as exposure over time, right? My exposure for time, I'm minimizing here, because if you're buying EEM down here at the start of a rally, right? You got a nice cushion here. Okay. If you gave it a leash down here where you wanted to let it run, you had a decent risk reward here. Okay. But now you're talking a different ball game up here. Let's start from right here, let's say, right? If you're buying EEM up here, there's still some money to be made if you can be tactical, if you can be quicker, like we're talking about. But when this comes and the odds of this happening go up a lot more when you're up in this neighborhood, okay, that's where you get caught, right? So outside of short-term stuff and the tactical trades I'm referring to, I don't have an interest in this type of stretched out name until this happens, what we're seeing right now. Okay, so now we got to pull in EEM FXI. And what I think the likelihood is, a lot of the other stuff in our markets are eventually going to look like this at some point. There's going to be some sort of digestion. It's normal. Okay? Sometimes when a trend is really, really strong, what you'll see is there's no selling and they just go like this sideways for a bit. you know? And if you're watching the price action, you can see that there's no sellers, okay? Now, we still got to understand, okay? This is a secondary entry opportunity up here to begin with. There's nothing better than the initial entry. We talk about that all the time, right? This is if you sold EEM or you missed the boat in EEM and you're waiting for another entry. Now is where you start to look here. Okay. Now you got some breather, and now you want to keep an eye on the sweeper activity to give you a heads up on what vicinity would be a half decent entry for a secondary entry. All right. So that's my point. Now, for me, what I started the webinar off as, right? What I said is what I feel most comfortable doing. I was never good at this game, secondary entries like this. Never. For some reason, I always lacked the confidence of playing off secondary dips along the way higher. I was around people who made a living off doing that. I was never good at it. I have no idea why. Okay. I feel most confident and I'm at my best off initial activity, the initial level. Okay. So what I like to do to keep me out of trouble now, when we're in a market that's stretched like we are now, what I focus is on, okay, give me a new EEM that you're buying, right? Show me something new. Where's the new money going? Okay. Until these things pull back, show me where the new money's going. Because I know that the smart, we refer to the smart money, gets thrown around loosely. The smart money's not buying up here. Okay. What's buying up here are the chasers. Who's buying up here are the players that don't want to buy up here. They have to buy up here. Right? They need to put on the exposure, right? We were talking about that, how nobody has exposure in a lot of these things. Okay, so it's forced buying. It's not somebody, the smart money saying, wow, this thing is beaten up and it's time to buy. They're forced to buy. All right, the smart money, almost all the time, is the first money in. Okay, so that's what I'm focusing on now. I'm focusing on some of the new stuff. So again, I don't know if I mentioned it on the last Thursday webinar, but I know we spoke about it with members over the weekend. I refer to it as the underbelly. Okay, so now if the commodity names are going to catch rotation, okay, they already came into a chunk of them, right? We saw the Freeport, FCX, X caught some action, all that stuff. Now, what usually happens is they find and attack the underbelly, right? Not the leaders or not the biggest names in the sector, but all the other names that are in the groups. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. We haven't seen that yet. I have no idea if we're going to see it. We may need a pullback before we do see it, right? But that's what I'm focused on, and that's what keeps me out of trouble in a sense, because what it allows me to do is if they're not buying anything new, then I'm just sitting in the stuff I'm already in, right? That I bought with time already, and I'm not chasing anything for positions. Okay. And the most important thing, like I mentioned, if there's no new action and new names, from my experience, that means that there's a breather more likely than not coming. All right, so that's how I approach where we are now, okay? And it may not be what you want to hear, right? Everybody wants to hear that the market's going to run away from here and you can buy any rotation name and never have a dip. The truth of the matter is, any healthy rotation with lasting power, there are dips along the way. There are pullbacks along the way where people have their doubts about rotation taking place. It doesn't go straight up and you hear sirens going off with somebody on the megaphone saying, everybody get in rotation names. They're going nothing but higher. Everybody own the shit out of these rotation names. The game doesn't work like that. You guys know that. You know, there's shakeouts along the way, right? And it's going to be difficult. Like, look right now, okay? Even myself, you know, I was salivating at EEM and could never pull the trigger on the dips. I still don't own EEM. You might get another opportunity here. You're already starting to get an opportunity on this pullback. Right? You get a negative headline at a Trump in this trade war, you probably got a down day on some volume. And if you see flow coming into that, you got to buy it if you're interested, no matter how bad the news is. But this is all the names that you guys are about to mention to me, all the names you guys like to trade, okay, that have extended or have gotten away from you. You want to see something to that effect. That's what you want to see. You want to see them come in, pull back. It's totally healthy. And what usually happens on these things, again, this is something we spoke about, right? You get, instead of, you know, a straight line higher, okay, you get an uptrend type of thing, you know, with the higher lows type of price action. And before you know it, you know, they're piercing downtrends and that sort of thing. So that's what you got to focus on. And we need weakness to pay more attention to it. So, you know, sometimes it takes time to get the weakness. All right. But in the meantime, there's stuff you can do if you're an active trader. Okay. There's stuff you can do. As I mentioned, you're looking for new action and new names, or you trade. And another thing I'm realizing too, as again, we haven't seen a breather in the overall markets, but what I'm starting to realize is there's already this quicker rotation going on out there, okay, where, you know, the banks are digesting a bit, right? They're just, you can see, right? Sideways a little bit here. So they're breathing. They started to breathe, okay? And money is starting to move into names at better spots. I'll give you an example. I didn't play it, unfortunately. I know some people played it in the room, but Facebook, okay? Facebook here, right? Had a nice little dip, obviously not extended like a lot of the other stuff. And, you know, you had 3 straight days of solid Fed call buying. I mean, there was a good looking Fed sweeper for 3 straight days. So if you were interested in Facebook, that's obviously at a better spot than the banks and the rotation names for a trade, right? So money's starting to come in and show up at stuff that's at better spots, not even in rotation names. I'm talking about in other stuff, right? We saw some of the software names all of a sudden catch some action at better looking spots. All right, so there's other stuff to look at for just trading purposes, especially intraday, if you guys can trade intraday. But for everything else, for the positions and stuff like that, you know, you want to be smart about it, right? If you're going to buy something up here with time, you better make sure that some sort of breather is not going to bother you. Okay? Because the longer this goes up like this, right, you're going to need some sort of breather. The longer it goes up without a breather, the bigger the bang is going to be. There's going to be a bang. I'm not talking about a bear market bang, but there's going to be a bang. You know, as the market does this, what do you think is happening under the hood? They're shorting the living crap out of volatility, right? And VIX and all that stuff. That comes home to roost time and time again. Okay, it doesn't mean a bull market has to be over, but the likelihood is there's going to be a pop in volatility and a drawdown in markets. right? The longer the buildup. So that's why, on a risk reward basis, you kind of want that out of the way, right? You kind of want that out of the way for any new positions up here. Okay. There's other ways the market can digest too. You look back throughout, any rally we had. It doesn't even have to be much of a drawdown, right? You could get a drawdown right back down to here. That's nothing. And that would be healthy. Right? Cools off a lot of heat, puts the rotation back into some doubt amongst chasers. And all of a sudden you see a huge uptick in sweeper activity buying that and right to new highs again. So, but you need some sort of digestion. It just creates a healthy environment. It keeps the bears in the game, right? So you get that short money involved. That adds more wood to the fire. And the breadth. It always helps with the breadth of the markets. Like right now, you could see, I don't know what names you have on your watch list, but keep an eye on it. The market will be up like this morning, and you'll look, and half your watch list is red, the other half is green. Some names are doing this, some names are doing that. You see that a lot in stretch markets. Yeah, and John, 5%, 3%, you don't want to put a number on it because you get 4.5% and you're waiting for that extra 0.5. You know what I mean? You just want to see you want to see some fear back in the market. You know what I mean? That not everybody thinks the market's just going to melt up. And you look for flow into that. And that's always been a great sign. Always been a great sign, right? You see sentiment come down a lot quicker than you ever thought it would, right? All of a sudden, people are bearish again. So that's what you want to see. What can happen, okay, is the melt up situation that a lot of people are talking about, but that's not a healthy outcome here. The melt up situation, again, it's like musical chairs. You're always worried about the music stopping because at some point it will. Names get too stretched, too much, the sentiment gets overly bullish, and then there's got to be some pain at the end of that, a la Jan 2017 into Jan of 2018, where you got that panic attack and VIX explosion. All right, so that's, again, all of us are different at this game, traders, position players, investors. What I can share with you guys is, from my experiences, you want to be quicker on your new entries here, right? So if you're, like, for example, the stuff you're holding on to with time, okay, the likelihood is you're profitable on, but you want to leave alone. Maybe you've rolled out or done what you had to do, but you don't want to sell. You want some exposure. That's fine. You don't have to get rid of that yet. Okay, I'm talking about new entries up here. It's a lot different. Right? Everybody wants to know buy or sell. Not every day are there just buy sell signals in the market. Sometimes it's best to just hold on to what you have at nice, at solid risk reward cost. And that means not to buy anything up here at the given point in time. Okay, the stuff that I'm holding on to, right, that I bought with some time over the past month, that stuff, I'm only going to look to sell that stuff if we do end up in a melt up mode. So in other words, if this market just continues higher into the holidays and we see all that non-believer money start to come in, right? We see fund flows, we see hedge funds who are net short start to really chase, then I'm going to look to sell the majority of what I'm holding and keep as little risk as possible on my book. Right now, I want to chill with what I got, focus on any new money potentially that comes into new stuff until we get some sort of breather. That's all. And the quickest of breathers, guys. It could be a 2-day bink, bink, and that's sufficient. Could be just that, and that'd be enough. It's just they got to kick the bulls in the teeth to keep them honest here. Reel in some bear money, keep shorts involved. Shorts have climbed up into a hole right now for good reason, but so we'll see. To get a little more technical, for those of you who may be interested, my Gamma friends are telling me that once we get through this week, which is again Quadwitch, monthly expiration, big expiration, things should loosen up, and that may translate into some sort of pullback. Okay, right now, and Gamma's a big force in the game right now, but you got a big number. You got 2 billion plus 2 billion on the Gamma side. All right, 3100, the 3100 SPX level is going to act like both resistance and a magnet. So you get that pull and tug around that number, right? This morning, where did we get to? I think we got a little over it, right? $31.02. So basically, look at that. We got to $31.02 and yank. And listen, it could create short-term opportunities the other way too. If things stay as they are, tomorrow you get some weakness, or maybe some semi-weakness, SWKS, that could be buyable for a day trade. You get the pull the other way. But I'm told once we get through the week and November expiration, you got something like 18 billion in Gamma coming off the book. And that should loosen up things. Okay, right now, as those of you in the room and on private Twitter know, I've been talking about it a lot. My Gamma friends, what they've been doing is just buying SVXY and intraday trading, buying puts on all the other ones, the VXX and UVXY. We even see sweepers doing that. That's what they're doing right now with Gamma where it is. All right, but anybody have any questions on the playbook at all for what I just spoke about? Does anybody have any problems with pulling in the reins and relaxing and not putting on more exposure and overextended stuff? I mean, it's an important thing. If you want to find success in this game, risk reward entries are right up there as far as importance with anything else. If you treat every level every day the same, where you're going to come in and look to buy something at any point in time, anything you like, you're going to buy, no matter where the market is or where it came from, especially this market, you're going to spin your wheels. What's going to happen is you're going to make money, as we talk about a lot, right? What's going to happen is you're going to make money. So in other words, you're going to make money off this. You're going to have some nice hits. But if you're playing the same up here, when that pull catches you, you're going to give it all back. You're going to give it all back. MJ, I'll come through this and I'll strain with you. What's up, MJ? But yeah, so I don't know, John, like what type of player you are in this game, right? If you can day trade, right? If you still want to play and you want to fool around intraday, right? Or you see something you like and you think there's enough momentum there, you're looking to flip it maybe that day or the next day, then that's the stuff I think you should stick to. If that's not part of your repertoire in this game, then yeah, you wait it out and either sit on stuff you may already be in from lower levels, or you probably locked in some nice profit. Hang on to it. Why do you got to give it back for? You know, hang on to it. Hang on to it. You see, I like the well, I'm in front of the screen all day long anyway, but I like to play with the shorter term stuff because it's kind of the best of both worlds, right? When there's not a favorable risk reward for swing positions, I still keep myself busy. I grind it out. I know I'm not going to make the same hit that I'm going to make on, like a BHC, which I've been holding for 2 months, right? I know it's not possible, but I'm looking to grind it out and make some money for a better setup to show up. You believe that, MJ? I'm still in the BHC. Well, I had April's, so that'll help. But you guys know what I'm talking about, And then we got a good example. You see what's going on in the emerging markets. Okay, maybe that's a tell to something we're going to see, in the not too distant future, maybe next week. But this is exactly what we're looking for, right? This would be the start of it. So like I said, now EEM, if you were looking for an entry in EEM, but you did the smart thing like we're discussing today and didn't chase into this big red bar in the way, okay, now you're looking for aggressive sweeper activity to show up into this pole. Okay, that's what you would be looking for. That's what you would be looking for. Maybe it has to come in more. Maybe it has to hang out a little bit more. Who knows? But you can start looking now where up here, right? When we were talking up here, you don't really want to pay attention to the flow up here because it's stretched. No, I'm out of the equity, Ryan. I traded the equity in BHC. I got out of that, but that allowed me to sit in the calls a lot longer than I normally would. You had the equity, Ryan? Oh. Yeah. I got lucky with that thing. Again, if I didn't sell the equity, I'd probably be long gone. I sat through earnings and all. I would have never done that with equity and all. Yeah, it's been hot. There was nice flow there too. Anybody, this is the one we've been talking about that we wanted to maybe buy some more when it went a little lower on us, but I was scared of the rotation, this SE, which had nice flow. I have some Jans, but nowhere near what I thought I was going to have when I first bought it. Oh, good, Gordon. That was good. You played safe. You played it safe. Earnings, it's a roll of the dice. You never know. Tesla has been amazing, but now, this is, you're talking about how many sweepers deep is Tesla right now? Every day we see a solid sweep in Tesla, every day. But there's been a lot of action in this thing. A lot of action. Again, today they hit it a couple of times. I think today were November short-term sweeps, but they hit it every day. Every day. Boeing. See, and that's what I mean, MJ, about the intraday opportunities. A lot of people in the room caught the Boeing yesterday. So that's the stuff you kind of look for. Like this turned out really nice, but you're looking for these type of opportunities to make some money, grind it out. You're going to have some losers intraday. You got to acknowledge that. But if you can make a little bit of money while you're waiting, if swings is your thing, that's who's better than you, especially if you made some money in this rally. Yeah, this Boeing turned out nice. Netflix, I mean, honestly, the flow in Netflix has been pretty impressive considering how much hate the stock has. You know, Netflix has caught a couple few decent orders there. But it's doing what Netflix does, you know? Looks good, looks like crap. No, I don't have a feel like even Facebook, you know, I hope I might have talked people out of it because I kind of downplayed it. I don't have a feel for these things right now. I just don't have a feel for them. Yeah, Disney, same thing. I don't, you know what it is, Joe? I'm almost waiting for if we start seeing the type of flow we've been seeing in the rotation names, if we start seeing post earnings all the crowded stuff catch buying again, then I'd feel better about it that they're going to participate. Exactly, Disney's crowded, and that's what scares me a bit. Not to say there won't be trades, like even in Netflix, but I think you have to buy weakness in these things for a trade. You got to be careful chasing green because they're crowded, if that makes any sense. I still think there's sellers out there, and unless buyers come in and overpower that, which I'm not ready to come to that conclusion yet, but we'll see. We're just getting through earnings on a lot of these things, so we'll see. We'll see. I don't have. I'm being honest. I don't have the feel. Like, put it this way: you see Facebook, you saw the Feb sweeps, Joe. Like that's something I would play that in a heartbeat. Usually, I would have played that in a heartbeat. Leg, you saw that Feb sweeper laying wood and legging into that position while the stock was dripping away, doing nothing. Like I love that. But because it's Facebook, like I don't even know where it fits in all this. And it had some time, it had some time. They were Feb calls. So I figured, like maybe keep an eye on it, see if these things get back in play. But I would treat them as trades for now. You know, I would treat them as trades for now. And I think that with the market even hanging up here, that you're going to see rotation into that stuff anyway. You're going to see money going all over the place until we get a pullback. You're going to see them coming in again and buy. Look at these biotech names. Like, how did I miss this whole biotech sector? Is my question. I don't have one besides the BHC. I don't have any of these big guys. Bristol Myers sweepers every day. Yeah, I know. The little ones are hard. The bigger ones, if they're catching flow, ABBV, that's another one. Jesus Christ. They like snuck up on us. Amarin had a good day today. Anybody catch that? That's some news. No, me either. Me either. I didn't catch it either. Yeah, Ricky J has all these things, Gordon. He's like 300 names deep, that degenerate. I hope he hears that on recording. So here's the action today. All right, so here's the Facebook guy. He's been playing for a while too, as you guys know. Keeps laying wood. Remember that day? What was that day? Anybody remember the date of all that action? Remember there was big sweep and all? No, Netflix. Not too long ago. Remember there was a $6 million or $8 million sweep, then it got converted to a block. It was big action. It was like right over here. Let's see. Probably over here somewhere, I think. 2 Fridays ago. So like 2 weeks ago. So right around here somewhere, Rye? Yeah, it was before Citron. It was before Citron. It was a good maybe couple days before Citron. The first. Thank you, Ryan. The first. So right here. Let's see. Oh, there, yeah. Cash, that's the order. That's the order. Feb 290s, 2220. Oh, so that's the same line, right? Yep. Same line. So he paid 22 initially on that line. 22. So listen, if you like Netflix, I'm not going to talk you out of it. There's legitimate buying in there. I don't know where it's coming from, but there's buying there. Okay. There's time. So understand that. All right. What the stock does over the next couple weeks means nothing. But if you're looking to play Netflix, even trade it on into any weakness, you got a good amount of flow there. All right. I'm not here to tell you what to buy. You guys know that. I pass on a lot of shit that keeps going. So that's the Netflix repeat buyer there. He opened, so it wasn't even a chance this closed. There was more than enough volume today to add on to that line. So definitely a repeat buyer. Here's the Feb guy in Facebook. Came back today, this morning at 10:30 and added. Look at this guy. This guy is beautiful. He's beautiful. This guy's beautiful. Like this is, again, it was just the name more than anything. Like this is the type of action accumulation like this where they just keep coming. You know, this is what, 3 straight days now, this Facebook like this. So there's somebody decent size out there buying Febs. Yes, there was news today, MJ, about that pay thing, right? That stock was strong all day today. You could, again, this was one you easily could have day traded today. Easily. I day traded it, but I was way too quick on it. Way too quick. But look at this. Look at that move early on. You know, so John, that's what I would look for if you're looking to be quicker. You know, I would look for names that really haven't moved too much yet, like this Facebook. You know, this was at a nice spot for a trade. But let's get to some of the other orders here. Yeah, cash KHC. I like the name, the group. Not much of a pull though, right? I guess it's been beat up so much that. Why, do you like it? It's kind of like I got to. You're in it already, don't you? Though, aren't you in it already, Cash? Oh, I thought you bought it off the initial activity. Oh, there was earnings in the way, right? There was earnings. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of flow though in this name. A lot of flow. You know, honestly, Cash, this is a name that if you're gonna buy with time, I don't know how far out you want to go. These are short dated though. Oh, equity, a little breather you can't be scared of in this thing. This thing got clobbered. What is it gonna do? Come down a buck? I mean, if it's gonna squeeze, it's gonna rattle off, $6, $7. This thing got destroyed. Destroyed. So yeah, you had nice action in that thing right off the open this morning. This is the name Honeywell. I like the sweeps, but I don't like the spot one bit. Like, look at this. What am I going to do with this now? Up here. Yeah, new highs. I can't buy this up here. Yeah, I know. Missed it a couple of weeks ago. A lot of these things, that was the sweet spot. Like, look at this move. Straight up. So I would wait for some sort of breather. It might creep higher before that, but I still, on a swing, I would probably wait for a breather. But it had a couple of nice little sweeps today. See, it was like 2, 3 of these sweeps and 150 grand. So they're not as small as they come across. This is a name. This is really slow. MJ, I don't know if this one's for you. But this is a name maybe to keep an eye on. Let me pull up a chart. I'll show you. Look. Pushed higher throughout the day today. But you could see, not too stretched. Rally, little breather here. And now today saw a little bit more flow today. Yeah, listen, a lot of the slow stuff is not so slow anymore. That's the tough part now, MJ? Like, look at the moves in BMY and BHC. These things have really got hot. Can this BSX get hot? Could. It's been pretty strong anyway, right? So, yeah, worth keeping an eye on here. No doubt. Worth keeping an eye on. If you're interested, you probably should get a little more serious than that if you're interested. And then here's a type of thing I'm looking for. I don't know anything about this name. I don't know what the hell this was about. But this is the kind of stuff I want to find, not this bad, but stuff that's just been ignored. Casa. Right before the bell, they come in, sweep it up, make calls. Post earnings. You're going to have a niner here tomorrow. You want to talk about beat up? Look at this. What is that? This thing's ready to go out of business. This was an IPO here. So, this is getting a little too out of control with beat up, but you know what I'm talking about. Not stretched in the least way. They're buying here with time. Here are the orders. May 5s. Not a lot of money. Weird action, though. Really weird. Maybe there's some news coming in that thing. We'll keep an eye on for. If they hit it again, I'll take a shot. If they show up again, I'll take a shot. Yeah, I would love to see more action in that name, MJ. But this is again, good call. This is the example of what I was talking about. Stocks at better spots, right? Kind of like the underbelly. This is the ag sector now. This has been such a tough group. I told you guys, CF was a monster once upon a time. Was the best stock you could own, CF. Now, people don't even know it exists. So this spot's not bad. Close strong today. Small action there today. So maybe they're just starting. Oh, these things have been, there's not much tougher than the ags. They've been impossible. But if this rotation's in play, this is the stuff you want to look at. But this is a good example, guys. You see, this is the type of setup that I want to see some decent action come into. Like, this thing didn't rally with the rest of it, right? This thing's not stretched like Caterpillar or URI or any of those. So, and the reason why too, like I like looking at this stuff, because even if a market does pull a little bit, the selling shouldn't be as vicious in this, right? The profit taking is not going to be nearly as vicious in this. And this is something I'd probably add to if, you know what I mean, if I was going to play it with some time. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to force it. I want I want some decent flow so I have the confidence if they do come in a bit to add to it, you know? But yeah, I think all in all, um, everything looks good. It's almost to the point where it's starting to look too good. You don't want it to look too good. But you know, everything's been going according to plan. We need a little downtime. Yeah, CF is a liquid name, no doubt. CF is a liquid name. You know, I'm looking to see if they come back into this AXTA just for a trade. This thing's just hanging out here. You know, I kind of like where it's hanging out. But yeah, I want sweepers to confirm that it's in play. So that's what I'm hanging out for. You know, if you see some AXTA sweeper activity, that would be your go signal here. It may be, MJ. It may be. The only, you know, you don't want to see this carry on for too much longer, because then, you know, then everyone's got to chase and they're going to catch everybody. Like, you know, you're going to get the hedge funds in, everybody in, and then you catch everybody. And then it's going to, you know, then you're going to have some downtime for a bit. You know, we still have that positioning backdrop. We still have it to our advantage. We don't want to lose that. You know, we don't want to lose that. Like you could see even the flows. Let me see. Do I have it here? Where's that chart I posted? Here. So you see, this is kind of what we've been talking about over the prior month here, right? Just an all-out onslaught to the sell side of these funds, equity funds. Nobody wants any part of them, right? And then there you go. But that's, you know, that's not bearish in itself. You know, if you get that healthy digestion, look, you know, strong bull phases, there's fund flow, legitimate fund flow. You know, so that's still to come, but you don't want it to happen too fast all at once. You want that wall of worry there and to keep bears involved. You know, those are the healthiest rallies. So, but like I said, knock on wood, so far so good. We're at another test here in this market, right? We'll see how it plays out. We most likely have to wait till next week to really see what plays out. But so far so good. You know, the most important thing, like I've been sharing with you guys, is just not to get too bearish when we do get weakness, right? If we do get weakness, that's a good thing. Don't let the noise convert you to the dark side. Yeah, when we get nervous is when the dark siders flip long. Then we got a problem. DDD, I haven't seen much of anything in this stock, Brandon. Has this thing been moving? Holy cow. Even DDD's got some life to it. Look at this. Once in a while, when there's like takeover rumors, Brandon, we'll see some flow. But other than that, what's another name? Oh, another name I'm looking at. I might build a position in this thing if flow accommodates. There's YUM, YUM. I'm looking for those Ackman sweepers to show up again. They hit some April calls with time. There were rumors that Ackman was taking a stake in this thing. So you see this, you know, this is trading in its own world here. Down off earnings, solid pull. So that's, you know, this is kind of the stuff I'm interested at this point. There was one recently, I didn't play it, but this Bax had a nice day today. They hit it into blood, if you guys remember. Yeah, so this stuff is not stretched. What would happen, probably, Luciano, what would happen is if the market does come in, if the market comes in a bit like we're talking about, you could see what you could see is a rally in TLT. You know what I mean? Like to here. But you got to be careful because if this rotation's in full effect, okay, this TLT could get hit pretty hard because money's coming out of it. You understand? So that's what you got to be careful for. That's what I'm saying. If you're looking for just a quick trade out of it, you got to, come to the conclusion whether it's worth it or not. But I'd be careful because this is on the other side of rotation. So, like I put out on my Twitter, if you guys want to take a peek this morning. Oh, I did it in here too. But I put it out on my Twitter this morning. They come out with this every month. That's not it. This is it. So this is this survey. I don't know if you can make it out, but this is the most crowded trade that they come out with all the time. BAML. All right. And you had, here, long U.S. Treasuries. It was number one on this list for a long time, and it's still up there with growth, tech growth. That's the software names and all that have been having trouble. See here? And looking like long yield, meaning interest rates are going to go higher at the bottom of the pack. So that's what you're looking for now. Is this a reversion to the mean type thing if this rotation takes place, which it has? That's what's been going on. That's what's been going on. So there's a lot of, caught longs in this TLT from this move, Luciano. From this move here, you got a lot of long money trapped now. That could be a problem. So just be careful on that. All right. Anybody have any last questions before we wrap it up here? All right. So just a quick overview. Look to be a little more tactical. Keep it shorter term, less reward. Right? You just want to grind it out, make some money, and then probably as we get into next week, I got a feeling things are going to loosen up a bit, one way or another. Maybe there'll be a quick vol type thing over a couple of days that'll get the job done. We'll see. And those of you who are members, I mentioned that the Gamma crew, right? They've been shorting volatility. As of now, the plan is they may flip long volatility into next week. I'll hear more about that towards the end of the week, like Thursday-ish, and I'll let you know if they're going to do that for any of you who, may want to even put on just some volatility protection or stuff like that, before it starts heading higher. As of now, they've just been leaning on the short side of these things. Oh my God. My God. This UVXY, just when you think it can't go any lower, huh? Jesus. All right, but I'll keep you guys posted. I'll probably hear something by Thursday. Sunday webinar. Yeah. We've been talking about Gamma a little bit more, MJ. Even throughout the day. Exactly. I don't like to get too crazy with it because it can be really confusing. So I just pretty much share what it means rather than getting into detail, on the webinars. What it means in simple English. Otherwise, I start sounding like Charlie McElliott. Yeah, exactly. I'll keep it simple. Up or down for you. That sounds good. I know you by now. All right, be good, MJ. Good hearing from you. Oh, yeah, that would be good. The name of it, if you go to wallstreetjesus.com, Maritza, if you go to wallstreetjesus.com, you'll get all the information there. It'd be good if I shared this on the video. But We got a 3-day trial if you want to check it out, free, no credit card required, nothing like that. You could get an idea over a 3-day trial there. And we also, if you're just looking for private Twitter, we offer private Twitter. If you go to the product section, private Twitter, and you get access to just private Twitter. All right, but it's called the Steam Room. You know, so, and also there's a strategy tab up here if you kind of want to get the gist of what we do with flow and sentiment and that type of stuff. All right, so it's wallstreetjesus.com. Any question, you can find me on Twitter too, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody. Good luck the rest of the week. Stay quick. Stay nimble.